Hi, everyone. Teresa Aker here from Success Diaries with Teresa Aker. I'm thrilled today to bring you Lara Lee Caine. How you doing, Laura?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, my pleasure. Now, Laura, I talked to you because you're a coach. You do a lot with your coaching business, and you have a lot of other things that you're doing. So let's talk about how you got into this, what you're doing, and what you're doing today, and where you're going. How's that?
Hey, yep, lovely.
Great. So let's start at the beginning. How did you get into doing this?
I actually was a hairdresser for over 20 years. So from like the age of 16 till up to a couple of years ago. And so obviously worked one-on-one with women for a really long time, sharing lots of in-depth conversations and listening to all the problems. I feel like I understand women on a really deep level. But actually from about the age of 20, I'd come across self-development and I really wanted to be a life coach. But I feel like you got to go live life and go through some things and go through some tough experiences, and with life comes wisdom, doesn't it? So I just in my spare time for the previous 20 years I'd studied self-development and all things spiritual and metaphysical and all just for fun in my spare time basically. And then when I hit 40 about 4 years ago, my sister was like, oh, you've got to train to do this, it's all you talk about. So I've then trained for like 2.5 years to get the proper recognised qualification, so that I could finally do what I've always wanted to do, the coaching.
That's fantastic. Now, along the way, I'm doing Success Diaries with Teresa Aker to
Yeah.
talk about when you have a goal and you have a plan and you have something you really want to do, things are going to hit you along the way. Did you go through anything that you can share with us that along the way that you weren't quite sure and then it all worked out for you?
Yeah, I would say so. I have always been fairly goal orientated, and even more so as I've gone through life, especially like sort of having goals and having dreams and like wanting to achieve things and never wanting to feel like I'm just standing still. The thing that I would say is, which I think probably a lot of people would resonate with about goals, is there's certain goals in life that if you're a goal orientated person or woman or man or whatever, and you're like, right, I'm here, I want to get here, so I'm going to do X, Y, and Z to get there. There's some certain things in life that no matter how goal orientated you are, you don't actually have like control over them. For instance, like meeting the love of your life, meeting like the ideal partner, having a baby, those types of things where you could do so much, but the other part, a certain amount is like you have to surrender a little bit and trust and let go, and you can't always control everything. And we think we're always in control of things. So there's certain things, especially I work with successful women, where they're used to having a goal and achieving something, and that's finding true love and finding that perfect person for them. That what the strategies they would normally use don't work under that, because you have to have the energetics and you and everything in place as well.
That's very good advice because you're right. A lot of people are super achievers and everything flows, and then all of a sudden they want something else and it doesn't go the way they want it to, and they can't figure it out and they beat themselves up. They think it's
Really hard, but you're used to making stuff happen, and then you're like, I can make everything else happen, why can't I make this one thing happen?
ex-
It feels even harder, because or even if you're really like a really amazing manifester and you're like, I can manifest all this other stuff, why haven't I manifested this thing though? But then sometimes the more attached we are to something, the more like the more resistance we can create around it and block ourselves subconsciously.
So you believe in manifestation. You believe in being in the right energy, the right field, and it's not always right. Sometimes the universe just has a better plan, I think. That's just
Yes, that's where surrender comes in. That's when you got to be not on your timeline. You just got to have faith and trust even before that thing turns up. So you do have to let go a little bit of trying to control the making it happen, and be as well. It's a very fine line of different ingredients.
So do you work more with relationships or do you work more in
Yeah,
business?
so mainly working with successful women who have everything other than there's like a relationship. So they've done really well in all areas of their life. The one area that they struggle with is love. and they struggle to find somebody who can match their energy and their success to bring the same to the table. They end up overgiving, not being treated very well, even though they're really successful in other areas. So it's really interesting, but it doesn't take, it's just we don't know everything, and it just takes some guidance. And I had to do it for myself, going from toxic relationships to true love. So I know the path. So I understand it very well.
I think here's the thing. I've certainly had my fair share of relationships, just like everyone else. I went through a couple of marriages, and my last marriage, my husband did pass away, but he was the best plus one. But you are right. It took many frogs, if you will,
Yeah.
before you find the right one. But let me ask you something, because we're talking about relationships. So why is that? Why is there superstar, super successful women
Yeah.
struggle to find that? So they give because
I
that's what
feel like a lot of it goes back to childhood. So part of the work we'll do is like inner child work, as well as the energetics, the belief system, the behaviours, all of those things. I suppose they're used to doing and making things happen, but quite often they might have got their validation through achieving. And we also attract people in our lives who are like, maybe who are like our unhealthiest parent. So it depends on what you your first experiences with love. So who showed you what love was? Did you receive that? If you're a woman, did you receive that from the father figure? What did you learn as you were growing up? So what were the beliefs that were passed on to you? So it goes down to that. And then also, if you've already got validation through achievements, so they're very high achieving, because that's how they would get attention, not just be like unconditionally loved just because they exist and they're here. Everyone has different life experiences, and or your first relationships start to build your belief systems around relationships, and then it becomes a narrative and a story. So we go in and look at all of those areas.
that makes sense. That makes 100% sense, because I think we all think because we've grown up, we're done with the childhood stuff. But in
No,
fact,
you
it's
talk about
way
childhood,
down,
every
isn't it?
surprise. Yeah, like literally doesn't matter how old you are, you start delving into the start doing the inner child work, and it's everybody's got an inner child that really needs taken care of. That we all have needs that weren't met. No matter how well-meaning your parents were, everyone's doing the best they can with the knowledge they have at that time. It's going in, finding out what needs weren't met, then them starting to give themselves those things, and then I help teach them to parent themselves. So it's what we're really doing is healing the relationship we have with ourselves, so we can become a vibrational match for the ideal partner. And that's when like the energetics and the how much we value ourselves, how high our boundaries are, how much we love ourselves will be equal to how somebody else shows up and treats us as well. So it's just all a big like layering of different things, knock-on effect.
That makes sense, because if you have to love yourself, obviously, but if you are still not dealing with those long, deep wounds, it's going to keep coming back, isn't it? Until you,
Yeah, because there's always the root cause. Yeah, so we have like, it's better to no one's like, it's like a one, oh, I've had some therapy, one and done. Unfortunately, it's not like that. It's an ongoing process.
yeah.
And so when I feel like our relationships, especially, everything in life is a mirror. Like I feel like it's a mirrorverse. So whatever's going on in the outside world is a reflection of your inner world. You will have relationships who you'll attract people who have the same emotional wounds as you, for instance. So that's why you're better off going in and healing those wounds. So then those people who showed up for you before, if they were quite toxic relationships, quite unhealthy people, they just can't come into your existence because you're not on the same vibration. Yeah, it definitely is. We all have things to deal with, and it is better that we tend to those things and understand. And also we create so much more self-awareness. We get ourselves more, and we're not lugging around a load of stuff that we don't need to be, all the heavy stuff that we've not wanted to look at.
So let me ask you something, Laura. So now let's say you've gone through that, you have toxic relationships, you know they're not good for you, and you're out there dating in the world. Do you have any hints for someone who is going out there, how they would take that trauma and still be able to move forward? Perhaps take those glasses they're seeing through and look out for red flags. Is there a way to help them out? Is there any tips that you have?
I think that, yeah, so many people will ignore red flags because you meet somebody and they meet a certain couple of things that you want to tick off the list. You're like, oh, they seem like they have potential. So the problem is what too many people do is don't put somebody on a pedestal, especially not too quickly. So many women do that, and it's like straight away you're projecting all of your desires onto this person, and thinking that they are everything you've ever wanted before you've even got to know them. And they prioritize, a lot of women prioritize the other person's needs over their own. They're trying to please them and seek their approval and perform and try to like overgive and win them over. And actually, sometimes the less you do, the more you'll receive. And so it's not about that doing, like, you can get too much in your masculine energy, so it's being more in your feminine energy. But the problem is all of this is behaviors, and it's sometimes that's why the coaching, I will literally guide them through each step. So if something's showing up, they wouldn't necessarily notice it themselves. They wouldn't know they were behaving in a certain way, or trying to, like, for instance, dating. One tip that one of our clients, they were doing speed dating, and so she was a very successful woman, and so she was used to being in lots of different rooms and being with different people, and she would control the conversation, and she would fill the silent gaps. And so I was like, okay, don't do that on the dates, because you're not getting to see what the other person. So she actually held back, let the other person do a lot more talking, and quite quickly she was like, oh god, that's dull, or oh, they wouldn't really suit me. But before, she wasn't actually even giving it a chance to find out, because she was just controlling the whole conversation. So when they're used to doing that, it's actually hold back and just see if they can lead, see how interesting their conversation is, see, just let the man lead for a while, and you'll get to see what you're getting.
Yeah, because if the man is talking all the time, now you're getting the exact opposite. You're getting, oh my God, that's all he
Yeah,
talks about. And if he's not interested in your life, then what the heck? You don't want
yeah,
to go any
yeah.
further,
Yes, so
right?
if he's not asking engaging questions, if he's not wanting to know about you as well as talking about himself, if he's, I don't know, what do you want, and doesn't know how to lead, or, oh, should we get this, or should we do that? Like, it's just a place of holding back a little bit and not feeling like you have to control every situation and fill every silence, because you're not really getting to see how the other person is.
Exactly. That's good advice. I like that. So now with your coaching, now where are you located? What country?
So I'm in the UK, and I do all my coaching on Zoom. So yeah, you can really work with. Luckily these days since COVID, it's really opened the world up. So you can work with anyone, anywhere, like depending on time zones, obviously, to a certain extent. Yeah, I'm in the UK.
Perfect. So now now, as you said, you do it on the internet. Do you do classrooms or do you do
So
one-on-one?
what I'm doing at the moment is quite, I've got like, so I just do, first of all, I offer a power hour. So if somebody's just got one particular thing they want to like zoom in on, or they want to have a taste of the coaching first, just to see how, like, what kind of, get a shift on one session and be like, oh, this is for me. Yeah, we've got a good connection. So we do a power hour. Or then I have also created, last year I created my own program, and at the moment I'm only doing it one to one. Eventually I will do it in one-to-one and groups, but it's just one-to-one at the moment. So there's two levels. It's called Liberate. It's 3 month program. You have coaching every other week. I give them resources in between, so anything that I feel like that they could benefit from, and it's going to help shift them forward in between sessions. So we have coaching every other week, online, one-to-one. And then the higher level is they have me on WhatsApp for the whole 3 months as well. Any question they want, like, they could message me every day if they wanted, and be like, okay, I've got this situation, or I'm going on this date, or I've had this message. I've even scripted messages for them on. And also it helps to hold them back when they're trying to do too much. I'm like, whoa. So you've got a professional sounding board, rather than trying to work it all out for yourself, and also just asking millions of friends and end up really confused about what you should be doing and how you should be navigating this. So I made the transformation for myself within 3 months, and I've been doing it for clients as well. So I had clients come to me say they'd never felt they'd ever been loved, even if they've been married. And then at the end of the 3 months, they found somebody amazing, and they're actually in a really, really happy relationship. So that's how quickly things can change.
Yeah,
So
oh,
that
I agree with you.
sorry, the program was called Liberate, by the way. I forgot to say that.
Oh, yeah, no, I get that. Now, let me ask you, Lara, where do you see yourself going in the next 5 years? Now, let's say you had a goal and you had a dream and you wanted to build what you're doing. What is the plan for you in the next 5 years?
I'm really passionate about helping as many women find love as possible. So I'm putting obviously the foundations in now, and I'm offering these things, but they will doing what I'm doing, but expanding it more. So having maybe different offerings or group settings or different. And also I've been building an Etsy shop. So I have lots of different products on there, which will help women with dating and relationships and love and lots of interesting things as well. I've got coaching sessions on there at the moment, but also I'm going to be starting putting like meditations, affirmations, lots of really cool things that are all just simple. If you want a low ticket thing you can buy now, something you can use straight away to help you, that's all going to be on there as well.
And you said Etsy, is that right?
Etsy shop, yeah, that's a
Yeah.
yeah, yes.
Oh, wonderful. And we'll make sure all your
Thank you.
information's on the show notes and so forth. Now, if somebody wants to reach out to you today, what's the best place to reach you, Lara?
I'm mainly on LinkedIn, so Lara Lee Caine on LinkedIn. I mainly hang out on LinkedIn, Facebook, but I am on Instagram as well. So any of those, you can like send me a message on there, and that's like you can get direct access. You can message me straight away. It's fine.
Perfect. And now you do consultations because I heard you say that.
Yeah.
So you're prepared to do that with them so they can get a hold of you and
So we can have a
assessment.
quick conversation via the messenger, and then if I feel like yeah I can help them, and then we can do a power hour if they want to taste the coaching session first, and then if they feel like yeah actually I really am committed, I really want to change this, like I do not want to go around this same cycle again, give me the program, and then we work really intensely together, and I'll literally hold your hand through all of it, so it'll be a lot easier and you'll get the situation resolved a hell of a lot quicker.
Oh, I love that. I absolutely love that. So I'm going to make sure all your information's on the show notes so everybody can get a hold of you. And listen, and do you have a website? I'm
I
sorry,
do, yeah, laraleecoaching.com.
LauraLeeCaine.
laraleecoaching.com. I can send you all of the links, and then we can put them on there.
Perfect. I didn't want to say it wrong. So Lara Lee Coaching.
laraleecoaching.com, yeah.
Got it. Okay, I wanted to make sure we had that on there properly for you. And so everybody, this is Lara Lee Caine, and she's a wonderful coach. She's going to be there for you. Go to her website, go to all her links. I'll make sure they're all here. I really, truly appreciated our time today. I thank you so much.
Thank you. I
And
really appreciate it.
oh, yeah, my pleasure. You're a lovely lady, and I'm very grateful that you're there. And everyone, if you're looking for those relationships and you want to learn about that, maybe what you can do to keep moving forward, that's what Lara Lee's there for, to help you out. So to everyone else, this is Teresa Aker from Success Diaries with Teresa Aker. I hope you're all having a great day. Do subscribe to my channel. I appreciate that. Have a great day, and I look forward to talking to you soon. Bye-bye.